So there are a lot of challenges which are faced in the manufacturing industry per se, right? So if
Yeah.
you can highlight what are the biggest challenges?
In our case, if you see what are the basic challenges, the biggest challenges for us is the turnaround time from the day you pitch your product or service till the day you actually earn revenue out of it.
Yeah, hi Anshuman, how are you doing?
Yeah. Hi, Mohit. I'm doing great.
All right, great.
Yeah.
So before we start, I'll set the context and pace of the session.
Sure.
So today we'll be talking about how to achieve zero mechanical breakdown
Yeah.
in a manufacturing facility. And
Yeah.
for all the audience today, we have Mr. Anshuman, who is founder of Minimac. So before we start, I personally am curious to know more about your journey, and if you can shed some light over there, it will be great. So how you started your firm, and from where did the idea come actually?
Right. Right. Thank you so much, Mohit, for connecting me today on this topic of zero mechanical breakdown. Certainly, it looks like a dream for all. And in any machinery which we have in the industry, as maintenance engineers and reliability professionals, getting a zero mechanical breakdown is something, it's like a European dream. I
Correct.
mean, I can say very easily that not even in European or American markets where they have much more development in terms of industry reliability and maintenance activities. Even there, people dare to say this statement, zero mechanical breakdowns. But
Correct.
yes, when I started off my journey as an entrepreneur, the first thing I had in my mind was about maintenance problems, expenses, and all the concerns around maintenance of equipment. So, some background of myself. I'm an engineer from IIT-ISM Dhanbad. I am a 2005 graduate from there, and my majors was in mining machineries. This is a very unique branch where you have a combination of multiple subjects of various engineering branches. For example, mechanical engineering, mining engineering, electrical engineering, and so on and so forth. So we used to see that a lot of pass outs from our branch used to go into maintenance field, and that's the place where equipment maintenance came into my genes. And thereby we started learning during our excursions to various industries. While interacting with our college alumni, we could understand that maintenance is a very big area where work needs to be done, especially in our Indian industry, where you have capital intensive companies, for example, the mining sector, the power generation sector, steel sector, and so on and so forth. So you have crores and crores worth of assets which are installed in the plant, and these assets are running for the production of your equipment and your plant. But whenever there is a breakdown, the entire production goes on a stall,
Correct.
and thereby you have to spend on an ad hoc basis another crore of rupees or maybe more than that to get the machine back into action. And thereby you would be losing a lot of amount while the machine is not in function. You would be spending hell amount of money towards service engineers, and most of the times we used to find that the maintenance professionals are keeping a lot of equipment as standby in their place, so that whenever some ad hoc maintenance breakdown happens, they have something in place to replace.
Correct.
So that's the area where we also had few subjects related to maintenance engineering. And right in my college days, I was very passionate about equipment, especially with regards to lubrication. And that's the place where it all started for me. So post my engineering, I joined a company called Tata Motors in India, and they gave me opportunities to visit various departments during my short stint of 1.5 years in Tata Motors. I could get opportunity to work in production, in new product development, also in marketing and sales, a lot of functions.
Correct.
So I can say that my college, my institute, and my first job at Tata Motors, both of them gave me a platform where I could start thinking about jumping into the entrepreneurial journey. So I started off after that. And this is my second venture. The first venture was related to trading of certain products, which were in the same field. And then in 2012, I started off or founded this organization, Minimac Systems Private Limited. The key focus since inception was to bring out new technologies, cost efficient products and services and offerings, which could lead towards zero mechanical breakdown.
Correct.
So products related to reliability, related to lubrication improvement, contamination control, so on and so forth. So this is how it all started.
Quite an interesting journey so far, and I'm sure you have a long way to go. And you are correct, truly impacting basically the industry that we have over here. So now, if you can just give me an overview of the industry. So when we talk about manufacturing sector, you benchmarked it with Europe, right? So if you can just give me a little bit more understanding as in how the industry looks like in India, all right, and compared to the global markets. So
Right.
where we are kind of.
Right. So to understand about the industry where we belong to, I would like to give an analogy from the water purification industry. Okay. So
Correct.
Mohit, I would like to you to recall your childhood. Do you think during your childhood you used to use a water purifier in your house while you were in schools?
Not really.
I guess you are of the same age group like mine,
Yeah, I'm
30 plus.
no, not 30 plus.
Okay.
I'm 23.
Okay, so you are quite young then.
Yeah.
Sorry for guessing it wrongly. But even in your childhood, you see, if you haven't used water purifiers and you were not very aware of using mineral water bottles when you travel. So
Hmm.
yes, during the last decade or so, there has been a huge shift in terms of how the Indian consumers consume water, right? Today,
Correct.
I don't think any one of us would dare to drink water from some roadside tap, or probably even in our houses. We all have the tap water coming into our houses from the municipal system, but we don't dare to drink the water directly. We always use a water purifier. Now, why has that happened? That has happened because there has been a good amount of awareness that got created over the years towards purification of water before you consume it.
Correct.
So, from this analogy, even our machines, by machines, I mean to say equipment which are installed in big sectors like mining, steel, energy, power, and then oil and gas, cement, paper, and so on and so forth, even shipping, railways, defense, all the sectors, right? We don't leave any sector. So, all of these sectors, the machineries which work there in order to perform the operations, to produce their products, all these machines utilize an asset called oil, industrial oil. Okay. So, as a layman, you can just take an analogy from our human body. While we have blood in our human body, which needs to be continuously clean, and for that purpose, we use a lot of nutritious products, we use good fooding habits, good hygiene habits to keep our blood pure. So, in the
Correct.
same fashion, your equipment, which is installed in your plant, even that needs a pure oil, because oil, like the blood, it runs through the entire network of pipelines in the machine, and that needs to be pure because it is meant to perform certain function, and that function would be hampered if your oil is not pure. So we are not suppliers of oil, first of all, right? We are not suppliers of oil. We are not companies who are making those equipment which are installed in the plants. So who are we? We are product providers, we are service providers, we are consultants, and we are awareness creators. Towards what? Towards better practices of lubrication, towards improving the lubricating oil which is circulating through the machines, towards identifying those areas which can help them, the machine owners or the asset owners, to identify what is the condition of that lubricant which is flowing through their machines. So you can say we are all in one. We are testing the oil, we are diagnostic it, we are giving solutions for better maintenance of the oil. And if in case the oil has gone bad, we do have equipment which we sell, as well as we have products and services which we give them to improve the condition of that oil which is being circulated in their equipment. So I hope as a layman, my explanation is well clear to you.
Correct. Quite comprehensive explanation
Right.
out there. And yeah, I'm sure that, it's pretty much clear
Yeah.
that the work that you perform, what is the work that you do, how you are
Right.
different, or what is the role that you are playing in the industry,
Right. Right.
right?
So
Mm,
in
Yeah,
short, basically, we will operate, or we will like to sell our products and services in those sectors which have maximum amount of lubricating oil which is circulating in their systems, or probably the criticality of the lubricating oil which is circulating in the system is very high.
very high. Correct.
So either it is volume of oil, or it is criticality of the equipment where the oil is flowing. If we meet either of these two conditions, we have a business sense making out there.
Correct. Very true. True enough. So now I wonder, so there are a lot of challenges which are faced in the manufacturing industry per se, right? So if
Yeah.
you can highlight what are the biggest challenges that the industry is facing right now,
Yeah.
as per your understanding.
So if you talk to me about the current situation, that is the pandemic era. So when the pandemic was coming in during 2020, initially we were very shocked or unprepared in terms of how we would handle the market, especially the Indian market. But over the period, we could see that already the Indian market is quite evolved. People are accepting various ways of marketing. People are accepting webinars, for say, because these were totally absent from our manufacturing sector. Before pandemic, whenever you have to pitch your product, you used to get a proper face-to-face appointment invite where you need to visit the plants, pitch your product to a group of people, convince them through demonstrations of actual running of the equipment, and then probably if you get an opportunity and if you can convince them, you make a deal out there. During the pandemic, all of these options were out. So we were quite surprised how to attend these sales pitches. But at the same time, we could sense that the Indian industry is accepting the new ways of marketing very easily. So we could do a lot of sales pitches over the webinars. So we started certain webinar series for open audience as well as for closed audience. We started multiple digital initiatives through which we could connect to our audience and our target customers. And you won't believe it that we have actually done 3 times our revenue post the pandemic. So in our case, if you see what are the basic challenges, the biggest challenges for us is the turnaround time from the day you pitch your product or service till the day you actually earn revenue out of it. Because it's a capital good, it takes certain time to get budget approved, to get the concurrence of the entire team members, to get the product qualification and validation from the team. And then you can actually make a sale out there. So the TAT is long.
Correct.
That's the only challenge which we face. So in order to work around that TAT, we do have to build our resources, team members, and the entire strategy has to be built according to that.
Correct. Correct. True enough. So now we touched upon my next question before some time, but although I would like to ask it over here. So what exactly is the impact of mechanical breakdown in the factory? And so one KPI or the performance indicator over here is the cost that involves in repairing or the downtime. So apart from that, is there anything else that is impacted uh, when a machine has been broken down, basically?
Right. So, maintenance is a big ticket size in the expenditure pie of any plant. It can be varying between somewhere around 30% to around 50%. So, maintenance around lubricating systems constitutes 30 to 50% of their expenditure of any maintenance department. So that's certainly a majority of their expenditure. And that's the reason why, if we can convince them on how the maintenance costs can go down, if you perform better lubrication practices, if you implement all the ideas or consultancy tasks that we are proposing them, then we can easily bring down these costs by around 50 to 70%. So we are talking about a situation where your lubrication related costs are at a point of 40%, and we are talking to save around 20% of that cost. So if you want to talk in terms of numbers, I'll give you an example from a power generating company. So power generating companies spend around 20 crores per year per turbine, okay, and for maintenance. Now 40% of that goes for lubrication related concerns, which brings a number of around 8 crores per turbine per year. We are talking about saving around 4 crores per year per turbine. So that's a huge number.
Correct.
Now, considering the arithmetic out here, we have around 1,000 turbines working in our country. So 4 crores per turbine, 1,000 turbines easily gives you a number of 4,000 crores saving for the entire power generation sector of just India,
Correct.
just our country.
That's quite an impressive perspective and stat out there. So,
right. So you can make a proportionate understanding of all the equipment which are working in various steel plants, cement plants, and refineries and mining sector. If you take them all together, easily you would touch a number of somewhere around $4 billion US.
Correct. So one thing that I like is that the product is industry agnostic. It does not limit to just one particular industry or just one set of machinery. So yeah, lubrication is quite a very good choice, I would say, basically to be in a business, right? So yeah, so now these are the problems we touched upon that are there in the industry that the industry is facing. So how Minimac is helping to solve them, right? So one is you provide consultancy, and other thing is, so how does the pricing also work? If you can shed some light over there as well.
Right. So our business strategy starts from creating awareness, because that is the first thing. Unless you know that there is a problem, probably you would never make a purchase.
Correct.
So that's the area where we are different from our competitors and peers, because we create an awareness, thereby we try to understand as a part of our consultancy, which is mostly free of cost. So as a part of our consultancy and our awareness program, we get into the process of a customer. We understand what are the costs they are spending and what can be saved for them in a realistic manner. Once we have that analysis available with us, we proceed to offer our services or our products. So whenever we offer our products, it calls for some capital intensive expenditure. Now, not all the plants or companies in India would be interested in CapEx, because they have already built a plant, and mostly in India, the plants are built by bank loans, by debts. So you can't go ahead to your banks every year for CapEx approvals and to avail more loans. So not a lot of companies are interested in doing a CapEx investment. And that's the reason why we also have service arm, where we can offer the same level of activities through service division of our company, where the customer does not have to spend any amount on the capital expenditure or capital equipment. They just have to give you pay as you do the service. So we have a two-pronged strategy, where we can offer equipment which the customer can buy, use it by themselves. And we also have our service arm, where they don't have to buy anything. It's like in your software industry, you have SaaS. So in a similar fashion, we have in our industry, pay as you go.
All right. So, I'm sure there must have been a lot of changes, when the COVID hit, and you talked about that a little bit before as well. Yeah. Now, how the industry has evolved over the last couple of years, and where do you see it in the next, let's say, 3 or 5 years, maybe?
Right. So while COVID was certainly bad, it was as bad as nothing can be. But at the same time, it made the entire human race realize a lot of things. As families, we could understand values of family. We got connected to our families. As we speak right now, you won't believe I'm not in Pune, which is my karma bhumi, but I'm in Ranchi, which is my janma bhumi. So that certainly gives a lot of time for you to spend time with family and things like that. Coming to the industry, how the industries have evolved. People have realized the value of cost incurred, because during the pandemic, there were situations where the productions were going down. And at those are one has to reduce the costs also. There were a lot of companies which had to be shut for a certain while because of the lockdown. And during that period, preservation, maintenance, all these became very important for people. So just because people have understood, the industry people have understood the importance of savings, savings which will come out from better maintenance practices, savings of the asset life, savings around the expenditure that they are doing without even thinking about how to save it. So those have come in after the pandemic. So I can say really the pandemic was not a boon, of course, but yes, it has led to a lot of thought processes within families, within industries, within organizations, and per se the entire civilization.
So yeah, it indeed has some lessons for each one of us.
Yeah.
So I believe, yes, and it will be fruitful in coming years as well. Those lessons that we had, and it'll be there for us for a long, long time. Right. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I had to ask for today. And it was a lovely interaction with you. And I got to learn a lot of new things about the industry per se, because I personally am from IT background, and I never had a very good understanding of mechanical part of things and how machines work. And it was quite an interesting discussion that we had today. Thanks a lot, Anshuman, for being here.
I'm glad that you could understand and relate to our industry so well in such a short time.